Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Between the Walls podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Jess.
And I'm Jonathan, and we are the Wallaces.
Yes, we are. Y'all, I'm not going to lie. Even though this is like, brand new season, it's been like 5 weeks since we recorded an episode.
Has it been that long?
It's been a very long time. We were trying to like get way ahead of the game, and that's why we were supposed to drop this season weeks ago, and like we're so far back. I just say that because I feel a little rusty, but whatever. How you feeling, babe?
I feel good. I had like half of a Alani new like before I went to the gym, so I'm like wired.
Where's
right
the
now.
other half?
Oh, like I threw it away.
Oh, I can
it was
really
like,
use
like
that
more.
right
It was
now.
like more than half. It was like 75%.
They're already like it's just small.
So I had like 75 grams of milligrams
Okay.
of caffeine.
Yeah, I mean the first time that I had one of those, I felt like I was gonna throw up. So
Did you drink the whole thing?
no, I didn't even drink the whole thing. I felt so sick because it's really sweet. The Alani news are
Did
sweet.
you drink the red one?
It was like blue and pink or something.
Oh, if it was the red
I'm a
one.
Celsius girl. I just need Celsius to come out with those same small ones and out all the way down Celsius. Because Alani New is so sweet.
Well, the red one was like super sweet, but the
Yeah.
other ones that I've had were fine.
Okay. Well, anyways, I think our today's topic is one that I feel like and honestly, anybody can relate to today's topic. But before we get into that, I need to know what has been your peak of the week, or at least something that's happened in the last 5 weeks since we last recorded. What's your peak of the week, babe?
My peak of the week, the fact that my friends are very close to having their baby.
Oh
They
my
probably
gosh.
will have had they definitely would have had their baby
By the time this episode comes out.
But yeah, they've been waiting for a long time, so it's just like super cool.
Yeah, I cannot wait until we wanted to have them on this podcast this season while she was pregnant because they would have been so good for today's episode.
Yeah.
They have such a story that honestly it helps to keep me going, but their story is just so crafted by God. But yes, they're at the hospital now. Probably, yeah, it's happening this very second. As we speak,
It's gonna happen.
a baby is being born, and I love that for them. So shout out to you, Zay and Truly. I know you guys are going to watch this. We love you guys so much. We're always praying for you. That's good. Okay.
How about you?
My peak of the week, honestly, is just that I feel like I'm returning back to myself. And I love that for me because, y'all, last week, every day, I was a mess.
Just had a rough week.
I had a really, really bad week last week. And I was just like, I kept saying to myself, I miss who I was before we started trying to have a baby. Like, I miss that other person. Everything was so much more fun. But I feel good this week. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? But I feel good today. I felt good yesterday. Like, I've been feeling good. So
God is good.
yes, absolutely. So I guess that kind of transitions because I posted something on my Instagram yesterday, just like, hey guys, let's chat. And I had a lot of people ask me about like, I need some encouragement because I'm waiting for this. And like, how'd you deal when you're waiting for that? And I feel like a lot of people are in a waiting season, as like there will always be a time in your life when you're in a waiting season.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you just got what you're waiting for, now you're waiting for the next thing. Like, it's always like you're waiting. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're not content. But like, since life continues to go on, there's always going to be something, you know?
And in the middle.
What do you mean?
Like it's like you're not like at the bottom or like at the top. It's like you're in the middle waiting for the next thing.
Yeah. Like I remember when I first hit 100,000 subscribers, it was you. You're like, can't wait for 250,000. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you're right. But I'm like, dang, can we celebrate 100? Do you remember that?
I was just trying to be encouraging.
No. He was. But it's like, it's always like, you're always waiting for the next thing. Even though you can be grateful for what's happening now. But it's like, say you even have a brand new baby. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get home. Or I can't wait. There's always a waiting, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to speak to that and just to speak on our story, our developing story a little bit more as well. And I'll let you start off.
Well, let me start off. This has very. I feel like this story doesn't have. Is more of a you story than it is a me story.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I'm in the story very much so, but I feel like you have to kick us off.
All right, you guys. So I'm going to share something with you guys, a part of our story that we've been holding on to for a year now, literally like a year and a few weeks that we've been holding on to this story because we just thought it was going to be like, I don't even know what we thought, but we were believing something. So I believe in our first episode of season 1, we were speaking about our fertility journey and all the things. And I mentioned something about something someone told. Actually, I don't even think I wanted to share it, but I remember you saying, are you going to tell them about daughters? And I said, I don't want to share that yet.
Yeah.
But now we can share it. So our church has something called Daughters Conference. We hold it every October. So last October, at the time, we had only been trying for about 5 months. So really not that long, but still, like, we were on stage, and I'm on the praise and worship set. So every year when they pray for a woman, like, who wants a baby, like, who is believing for a baby, like, come down to the stage. I'm always on the stage because we're about to sing or we just finished singing. So I don't usually go down to the front. I mean, the 2 times that has happened so far, I don't go down to the front. One, I don't know, something about letting the whole world know, even though we've already talked about it on a podcast, but something about going down there to let everyone know that we're trying for a baby, it makes me feel so naked.
And soon everyone will know.
I'm like, bro, I feel naked. Everyone's like, you're having sex. I don't know. It feels naked. And then I feel like after that, I already know everyone's going to want to talk to me and pray, and I'm just like, it's a bit much for me. Like,
it's a little overwhelming.
It's a little overwhelming, and even though, like I said, we talked about it on our podcast, and people do know, but I feel like in that capacity, it just gives people like a more open forum to be like, I saw you up there, I'd love to talk. I just don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, back to last year, October. I'm getting long-winded.
No, you're good. You're good.
Back to last year, October. They asked everyone to like pray or to come down if you want to be prayed for. Like I said, I'm already on stage. I was standing next to somebody else on our worship team who I never even told her. I did not tell her that we were trying. Like I said, we'd only been trying for 5 months. I didn't tell much people. And she looks at me. She's like, do you want to go down there? And I just looked at her and I just start crying because I'm like, how did you know? I don't know. It was that situation in itself. It's definitely a God thing. That alone, I was just like, that's so, like, it's a completely different reason why I was crying. And then I was just kind of emotional because, to be honest, in the grand scheme of things, when you first start trying to have a baby, you think it's going to happen within the first 3 months. Like, the first negative test, it's like, okay, no problem. The second one, it's like, all right, thought it would happen. I feel like once you hit that third one, you start like,
what's wrong?
Yeah, you start freaking out. I feel like it was around month 3 or 4 where I started to, like, be disappointed. Like, the first one, I was like, all right, whatever. But anyways, so by month 5, I'm like, okay, I have a feeling this is going to take longer than I thought. Or you just think that getting pregnant is so much easier. And I'm like, why isn't it happening? Anyhow, so I'm like, no, I don't want to go down there. But I start crying on stage. And then the praise team starts praying for me. So fast forward to the end of conference. We're still there. Jonathan and I are just standing outside or something. And a woman comes up to us.
No, I wasn't there.
You weren't there?
I wasn't there.
Why do I keep telling people you were there?
I don't know. Memory's a funny thing.
You weren't there?
I wasn't there.
I was standing with somebody. Are you sure?
It wasn't me. Oh, it
wow.
ain't me.
I really remember you being there. Okay, well, a woman comes up to me and she goes, now I'm like, my whole story feels discredited.
No. You got the essence. The essence is what's important.
All right, cool. So Jonathan was not there, but he is there because he's always with me because we are one. Amen. So a lady comes up to me and she goes, I don't know what you're praying for, but when I saw you on stage, God just told me to tell you within the year. She's like, I don't know what it is, but within the year. So at this now looking back, it could have been anything, but I'm thinking you saw me on stage while we were praying to have a baby. God tells you to tell me within the year. I immediately think, okay, from October to October, within the year. My first thought was like, within this year, within 2023? Like, we got 2 months left. And when that didn't happen, I'm like, oh, she must have meant within the next 365, we're going to have a baby. I tell your parents, I'm like, somebody prophesied and said, like, within the year, we're going to have a baby. She never said that part.
She did not say that.
She didn't say that part, but that is what I took away from it. And so we keep, just to make sure everything's fine, we do testings or whatever. And I told you guys my part of testing. We never told them yours. Would you like to share or no?
When they did a sperm analysis.
We did that in May. We actually took the sperm analysis test on our 2-year anniversary.
Yeah. So it showed that my count is good, the volume is good, like all the major markers that they test at most clinics are fine, but it showed that my progressive motility is low. Mm-hmm. That not a high percentage of the sperm are swimming straight. Or as my who said that they're beating around the bush? Your brother.
My brother.
He said that they're beating around the bush. They're beating around the bush. Like everyone's too afraid to ask the girl out or go up to the egg or whatever. So that was something that they found on mine, which they say it can make it more difficult to have children naturally, but not impossible. Like people have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I have going on.
Yeah. So that was this May. So that was October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So that was 7 months after that lady. I'm boring you?
No, I'm sorry.
It's every episode. It's fine. That was 7 months after the lady told us, like within the year. Yeah. So at that point, I was the one who got the results because Jonathan couldn't come to the doctor. So she was telling me, but what Jonathan just said, she goes, it's not impossible, but it is going to be a little more difficult for you guys to become pregnant. And then she started suggesting that we, seek
a fertility specialist.
But Jonathan and we decided we're going to wait.
Within the year.
We were holding on to that within the year thing. It was May. We had June, July, August, September, October. We had 5 more months. We're like, we're going to wait and we're going to just see what God does. But we decided we're going to wait until October because we want to see what God does within the year. We got the prophecy, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Fast forward to October. October is the Daughters Conference is coming up again. And that would make it like pretty much exactly a year to the date. So it's coming up, and at around September, I knew we had like a month left. Like the last few months leading up to October, like I really thought okay, August.
You're waiting for the grand reveal.
Yeah, I'm like,
he may not come when you want him, but he'll be there right on time.
I know. I'm like, God, you're really gonna make me wait the exact year? Like, I'm like, within means any time from now to then. I'm like, you couldn't be January, it couldn't be March, August. I'm like, you're really gonna make me wait until October? Because August, I was like, bruh. There's no way it's going to be literally October. I'm like, I'm pregnant this month. September, I thought it again. I'm like, wow, okay, it's actually October. So I decided around that time, I was like obsessing. I was watching so many pregnancy TikToks and YouTube videos and signs that you're pregnant and how I told my husband I was obsessing over those videos. I'd stay up till like hours in the morning watching those videos.
I can confirm. She's not lying.
Yes, I was like, this is going to be me soon. I want to prepare. So I was like, you know what? I am going to stop watching these. It was about 3 weeks until the Daughters Conference was coming up again. I was like, I started fasting, watching. I'll use that word for lack of a better term. I'll just say I stopped watching those. I'm like, I'm not going to watch those until after Daughters Conference. I want to clear my mind. I don't want to obsess over this. So I stopped, and I went and bought some pregnancy tests because I was like, well, how cute would it be if we took the pregnancy test the morning of Daughters Conference?
Oh, you had bought baby stuff.
Yes,
too.
I had bought some more baby stuff because I was like, I'm believing for it.
Or pray over it.
Yeah, I would literally, like, Jonathan would be asleep, and after I was like, this is before I decided to stop. Like, after I was like, okay, I'm done watching these videos, I would get up out of bed. I didn't even tell you that. I would get up out of bed, and they were in our junk room, another room that we have. I would go in there, and I would pray over them. I remember I put them on the floor one night, and I'm just sitting on the floor, and I'm just praying over the baby stuff because I'm like, it's going to happen. This is kind of sad. This is kind of sad. Anyways, I'm praying over the stuff. Then I go back to bed. So the week of Daughters Conference, I start freaking out a little bit. I'm like, babe, what if it doesn't happen? I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to survive if like it doesn't happen, because I think that it was actually like a little gift that God gave us, or that lady unintentionally gave us, is that we had a cushion of like that year, kind of feeling like it's fine. Say it was in May and I wasn't pregnant. I'm like, it's fine because I know it's going to at least happen by October. So I felt like we had a cushion where I didn't freak out that much in the past year. A little bit, but not much, because I still felt the hope that I knew it was going to happen within a certain time. Yeah. And I was like, it was okay. So I kind of like can appreciate that little gift that we got, because it was like a safety net. But I was like, oh my gosh, what if actually it's not true? Because this whole time I have the safety net of October, but if it doesn't happen on October and we don't get no more prophecies, I actually have no idea when it's going to happen, which is normal. No one knows when they're going to have a baby. But I thought the favorites where we got a little heads up. I was wrong. So I was like, what if it's not October, then when is it? Is it another 3 years from now? Is it another 5 years? Like, then I really have no idea. So I'm just like being a mess. I'm like, Jonathan, I don't know, man. I just don't feel good. Anyways, like I said, we were getting ready to take the test Saturday morning because I was supposed to get my period Monday. So I'm like, by Saturday, I'm 10 days DPO. And all my girls who know what DPO means, that means you know what it's like to try to conceive. Because we don't wait until we miss a period anymore. We know that we can test 10 days. That's days post-ovulation.
Yeah, I did not know what that meant. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was very confused, but I was gonna let you cook.
My TTC girls know. We got the lingo. We know that soon as some people do 8, but 10 days DPO, you can see another line. So I'm like, I'm gonna test on Saturday. That's exactly 10 days. Actually, I would think it was 12. Anyways, and then I get my period Friday. I woke up that morning and I was like, I feel funny. I'm like, this could either be a pregnancy feeling, because unfortunately, pregnancy and period symptoms are a lot of the same. So it's very confusing. It does mess with your head. I woke up that morning. Jonathan was already at work. And I said a prayer because I'm like, all right, God, I'm either pregnant or I'm on my period and I have to pee. So I'm about to find out right now. And I just want to say that, like, no matter what, like, I trust your plan. So I go to the bathroom, whatever. I found out that I am, in fact, not pregnant. I am very much on my period. But I was still a little hopeful that day. I'm like, maybe I'm spotting. I start going back on the Googles and I'm looking at what does spotting look like? How is it different than a pregnancy? I'm confused. I'm like, this can't be. I'm supposed to be pregnant by tomorrow. I'm supposed to be pregnant by tomorrow.
Period today. Pregnant tomorrow.
And I even still thought, I'm like, this is a testimony for real. Like, I'm on my period today, but I'm gonna be pregnant tomorrow morning. Like, I know it. But my period just kept getting heavier and heavier throughout that Friday. I'm like, this is not spotting. Like, I'm on my period. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Anyways, all that brings us to.
Well, I'll say that from there, you held it together pretty well.
Yeah.
Up until we actually went to go see the fertility specialist.
Oh. I guess we can add that by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Okay.
She was still waiting really well. Like, I'm like, man, Jess is really taking this very well.
Actually, I really was. Like, even that Friday that I had gotten my period and I told Jonathan, I had not cried yet. I was like, okay, like when I used the bathroom, when I saw that, because I mean, I was still a little bit hopeful, but even though I kind of knew in the back of my head, I'm like, this is your period, girl. Like, this is exactly what your period feels like. But I was like, it's fine. I still think, like, I don't know. I was still like holding on to something. I'm like, all right, God, you're going to do something amazing. Like, I'm ready.
Do you know that? Do you ever is it time?
Oh, no. He just, honeybee is buzzing. That's it.
Oh, did you see?
Oh, it happened.
Oh, what?
He said, I have baby with me on the maternity floor. Just waiting on Chili to leave OR. Oh my God.
Our friend just had a baby.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh,
that's great.
Oh my God. This is amazing. Wait, I don't even know what to write. Okay, I don't want to rush my message, but okay.
This is great.
This is great. Oh, congratulations, Zay and Truly, who are officially parents.
Oh, that's just so awesome. This is great.
Parents. I can't wait to you guys hear their story. Even just the giving birth story. It's a long journey, but I'll let them tell it. But
oh man, this is great.
That's amazing. Oh, he said he's the cutest thing he's ever seen.
Oh, this is awesome.
I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. Give us a second. We have to start it over anyways.
The timer's ready?
Yeah, in 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Should we just keep going? Okay, in 3 minutes we'll respond. Okay. So yeah, that Friday I was fine. Even when we woke up for Daughters Conference, we were fine. We did wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, like 5:30 a.m. I didn't have time to be thinking about nothing. I was fine. I was fine throughout Daughters until we got to the same moment again where I'm on stage because I were on the worship set and they're again praying for women who want babies. And I'm again sitting next to the same exact person. Jonathan wasn't there because he had left early because he needed to do something. And I'm sitting next to the same exact person that I was sitting next to last time. And she didn't say anything, but she just put her hand on my back, like with support. Because obviously she sees I'm not pregnant yet. And she knows I've at least been trying since last October. So she just puts her hand on my back. And then I just lose it. And by this time, pretty much the whole worship team knows, like, we've been trying. And it was kind of funny because my mom was at the conference. My eyes are closed at this point. My eyes are closed. My tears are falling on the stage. And then I feel somebody come and hug me. And I didn't know it was my mom, because why would my mom be on stage? They don't just let anybody come up on stage. My mom ran on stage. She made a scene. She's hugging me. And like, we're all crying. Anyways, but our pastor does give a little bit of prophetic word. I'm not going to share it yet, but we do have it on tape, or it's on recorded. So if that does happen, I'm going to play it for you guys one day. But anyways, but then I cry about it, but then I don't really cry about it again. That's not true. I cried that night in the car.
Okay.
Anyways, this is getting really long. You want to take over? Because I'm like, this story is long.
Well, after that, she was pretty okay for a while. Like, she seems pretty normal. Mm-hmm. But then when we went into the fertility specialist,
because we did decide after October. Yeah. Like, all right, after October, it's about a year and a half of trying. We're like, okay, let's just go see somebody to see what they say.
Yeah, and they were super helpful, in my opinion. You know, they really walked us through what the process is to conceive and the things that might be barriers to it. And they gave us like, all right, here's what we're going to do. This is an action plan. Like, here are the steps. Like, they were super helpful. And they started walking us through an action plan on like how to test all these things to know what the next step is. So we thought, well, the idea when you go to a fertility specialist, like, okay, they're just going to tell you that you need IUI or IVF, right? Like, and then like, oh, let's just start. So I think that was what was in Jess's mind, because she's like, all right, let's get me prepared for my procedure.
Yeah. I'm like, I ain't gonna lie. Like that morning, this is TMI, but that morning I ain't got a wax. I'm like, it's just so if you need to look at me today, I'm like, I'm ready.
She's like, I'm ready. Let's go.
I'm ready. I don't have to be like, oh, I'm sorry, but what? Cut the crap. I said, I am ready. But to be honest, I knew in my head, this is a consultation. I knew they weren't going to be like, all right, let's get on in there and put a baby in you. But I feel like once you're sitting in that chair, once you get to the point where you're like, we need to seek like a specialist for like help, you wanted a baby yesterday. So it's like to hear that they're like, oh, it's going to be another weeks or 2 months or XYZ. So I'm like, I don't want to wait any longer.
Yeah, so the doctor, he was making it seem like, yeah, I mean, we're having pretty fast. Like everything, you know, is going to move fast. But when the nurses will always give you the real every single time. So the nurse was like,
oh, she was real.
She was like, because Jess is like, all right, so we'll start, you know, next week, 2 weeks from now. And she was basically like, the reality of the situation is, because we were checking so many things to make sure that, don't be surprised if it's 6 months from now and you're still sitting in this chair and you're not conceived and you don't have a baby yet, or I mean, you're not conceived yet. And then that was like, I think, a big punch in the gut to Jess.
It like brought me to reality, because some of the options that they were offering to us or letting us know about, they were just letting us know, like, also it's about a 20% success rate. So it may not work. And she's like, you could still be sitting here in 6 months. We could be going over other options. And it just like reality really like set in for me. And
so I think, and then the week after that, that's when she was really like down in the dumps. Like, not really,
it was like the next day.
The next day, and then for the next few days after that.
Yeah.
She was not
you meant like for the whole week after that?
Yeah, for the whole week after that. But she's in a better place now. So I guess the question is, you've had to navigate like waiting seasons in the past. Some of them like we've documented. How has this felt in comparison to those waiting seasons, and I guess what your encouragement would be?
So here's the thing, right? This goes along with all the women who have asked me like, oh, I'm waiting on my husband and I don't know how to like be in the waiting, and other people are getting married and dating and all that stuff, and like, it's not fair. Like, when is it going to be my time? And I've also been there too. The thing is, and I know what it's like to feel disappointed, because this whole in the year October thing, even though a lot of other things happen within the year. So I just want to say,
brand trip?
Yes, I've been on brand trips, whatever. Doesn't even matter. A lot of other things have happened that I was praying for have happened within the year. So I don't want anyone to think that, oh, this is why I don't listen to church. Like, I don't want to discredit what she said, because She was never specific.
She did not say that.
So
You heard what we wanted to hear.
Right. I heard what I wanted to hear. So I don't blame her at all. And like I said, I think it was a special gift that helped us get through the last year. Well, whenever I say the last year, people think I've been trying for a year. It's been about a year and a half. This one is different for me only because I am constantly more and more realizing that I have no control over the situation. Even realizing, even say we're seeing these fertility doctors and they could give us honestly the magic potion that says 100% chance this will work. And still, if it's not in God's plan, it won't work. It is 100% up to God and up to his plan. And something though that I had to realize, which is something that I have to constantly realize, even back to when I was waiting for a husband or waiting for a branch, whatever it was I was praying for, is that like God sees the bigger picture. I'm like, there's something that I can't see that he can, as to why I don't have XYZ. You can put your XYZ in here, but the same story goes for anybody who's waiting on whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we can't compare, oh, well, so-and-so was not at all ready for her husband and she found her Prince Charming and now she's blah, blah, blah. There's something that God can see that you cannot, because I could have, like I said, I could have easily gotten, every time I say this, it sounds crazy. I could have easily gotten married at 25. I could have just picked some random Joe Schmo off the street who wanted to marry me, and I could have been like, you know what, let's do it. I'm ready. But that wouldn't have been God's plan for me, and I would have rushed ahead of God. And the last thing you ever want to do is rush ahead of God and do your own thing and do it your own way.
It'll just be a counterfeit.
Yes, and you're gonna, months later you're gonna be like, oh, I hate this. This is like this. I should have waited. And also, I know that some people, there are a lot of believers, or Christians, whatever. There are a lot of Christians out there who don't believe in getting help to see fertility because they feel like if it's in God's plan, you should just wait. So a lot of people can see this as rushing ahead of God.
Well, the reason I don't think so, I'll answer that and then I'll go back a little bit to something I thought about, because it's not a quick process, like the fertility thing, and this might be God's way of making it happen for us by using the tools and the knowledge of the science that he's given people in order to carry out. And we are very much aware, and we are still praying for it to happen naturally while we get tests for certain things and we get checks on certain things, because God's still able to do that whenever he feels, if ever he feels like that's how he wants to do it. Or it could be through IUI, or I hope it's not, but it could be through IVF eventually.
Yeah, they told us how much that costs. We were both like, when we got in the car, we're like, hey, man, we're not doing that.
I'll go to Cambodia for that. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that in the US of A. Oh, man, they were dropping numbers. I'm like,
we were like, hey, slow down now.
I'm like, that's a lot of money. But yeah, so it's still all up to God. Even if we did any of this stuff, like it's only going to happen if God's ready or wants it to happen. But one thing that I'll say is that, based on something you were saying, is that I believe that God does everything for his glory and for our good, right? Like everything he's working out is for his glory and our good. So if we don't have a baby yet, it is not yet for either his glory or for our good.
Right.
That if it were to happen when we wanted it to happen, it would... Like, he would have given us the baby before if it would have been for our good to have the baby before.
Right.
And I think about the situation with, I just read Lazarus, like Jesus, like raising Lazarus back to life from the Bible. So God knew that Lazarus was going to die, right? Jesus knew Lazarus was going to die. But he said the situation won't end in death, right? So everybody's like, when Lazarus died, they're like, yo, what the heck, man? Like, what are you doing? But it's
get here faster.
But then Jesus like, it's good that he died, because now that you'll be able to see the glory.
Yes.
And one thing that's just so good about God is that Jesus, even though Jesus knew he was going to raise Lazarus from the dead, he still wept with those who wept. Our pain, like it said, Jesus was deeply angered. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that his anger was towards pain, against pain that we feel, against death that we feel. Like he's still feeling with us, even though he knows what he's gonna do. So I think even in our situation where it's like, dang, like God, how come you just didn't give us what we wanted yet.
Mm-hmm.
You have all power. Like we know,
Yeah.
we acknowledge. It's like we are now at the point where we know that is not under our control
Yes.
at all. Like, there's nothing that we can. It's
Hello,
surrendered.
my hands
So
are
like,
open.
just make it happen. But he's like, no, what I'm gonna do, I believe what he's going to do is gonna just be a testimony, maybe for somebody else, or even just for us to see God's glory and see
Yeah.
God's providence.
Mhm.
You know, because like, imagine if it would have happened when we wanted it to happen in the
Mhm.
beginning,
Mhm.
then one, we would have not. There are a billion reasons why I think not, and then two, like we wouldn't have get to see what God is going to do, like
Yeah.
how much more we believe and have faith in Him.
Mhm.
Then when we see like all the things, like it's like wow, thank you God for letting it happen when it
Yeah.
happens.
Yes. You know what's funny? Me always saying that when it's not funny. But I remember kind of trying to plan out a testimony for God to give me because I'm like, God, this testimony gonna be fire if you really let me get the pregnancy test, the positive pregnancy test the morning of daughters. I'm like, this testimony is gonna be so good. Like last daughter, she told me within the year, and then I took a test the morning of daughters, and it was positive. Oh my God, I'm like, bruh, the bread and butter is right here. You're not
It's right
taking
there.
it.
It's right there.
I'm like, what a great story. People will get saved and be believers from this story alone. So you missed your opportunity, God. So what you about to do then? Maybe it's gonna be well, obviously. And even if it's just a random Wednesday, like whatever, like
Yeah,
it's for His glory, regardless of the theatrics and like the whatever, you know.
yeah, and the secret to waiting is that there is no secret to waiting.
Zero.
You
Yeah.
just have to trust. You just have to trust God.
Yeah.
And it's like trusting God and leading not on your own understanding, because it's
That
so
is so important.
Talk about it, Jesse.
Yeah, no, the leaning not to your own understanding, because like I feel like trying to even understand is going to drive you insane. It's going to plant seeds of doubt, and I feel like it leaves too much space for the enemy to try to help you understand like, oh, this didn't happen because God doesn't love you, because you're not good enough, because
Yeah.
our understanding is going to go towards the negative. Like we you cannot lean on your own understanding. It's going to drive you crazy trying to figure out, well, God, why? I mean,
Yeah.
you're allowed to ask God why. Ask God
100%.
questions. Tell Him cast all your cares upon Him because He cares for you. Like, give it to Him.
Yeah.
But then give it to Him.
100%.
You know?
When I was like 19 and you didn't want me yet, there was this song from I think like the DreamWorks movie Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when Joseph gets like cast down into the pit, like from Potiphar. And the song says, "You know better than I," right? And it goes, "I let go the need to know why, because you know better than I."
Oh, that's so sweet.
So it's like, once you let that go, it's like, God, if you can't lie, you know, like in Numbers, I think it's 23:16. I hope I'm right. Or 23:11, something like that. But it says that God's not a man that he can lie.
Yes.
No, he's not a son of man that he can change his mind.
Mm-hmm.
If God says that I am good and I am for you,
Mm-hmm.
then that is true no matter how we're feeling, no matter
Yes.
what our understanding reaches to. So at the end of the day, it's like, am I going to trust you or am I not?
Mm-hmm.
Period. Because I heard the story one time about this girl, like her mom died, I think it was, and she would go to all these counseling sessions and whatever, and she's like, I just can't understand why God would let this happen. I can't understand why God would let this happen. And then someone asked her, is there any answer that God could give you? Is there anything that God could give you that you would be like, okay, I understand?
Mm.
And she's like, no.
Mm.
Then it's like, well, at that point, you have to decide if you're going to trust God or not.
Right. Yeah.
Well, like, that's it. That's all there is to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, guys, the waiting, there are times where it can get easier, but I don't feel like it ever feels easy. But there are like days where it's like, okay, I'm content. And there's days like, oh, God, why? It's like the holiday season kind of scares me a little bit because I know that this is when a lot of people this part doesn't bother me, but like people are getting engaged over the holidays or whatever. But people are also like announcing their pregnancies and stuff during the holiday. And it's like, am I going to be okay in this season? But I feel like it's just like guarding your heart is important too, but also let go of the, what about me? When is it going to be me? It's just like, just rest, my child.
Yeah.
Rest a little bit.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we knew that we were going to be talking about this, my brain always goes to the verse in Isaiah where he talks about that those who wait or those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. But I'm just going to read a little bit of the passage and then I actually found that I had a note in the Bible about that I wrote in my own Bible.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'm like, man,
You said, "I'm spitting."
younger me was onto something. But I'll read back a few verses before. Have you never heard? Have you never understood? The Lord is the everlasting God and the creator of all the earth. He never grows weak or weary. No one can measure the depths of his understanding. He gives power to the weak and strength to the powerless. Even youths will become weak and tired, and young men will fall in exhaustion. But those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They will soar high on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. And the note that I wrote in the Bible to myself, I guess, the strength I got yesterday isn't enough. But when I trust in the Lord, or when I wait on the Lord, I get new strength, moment by moment. God gives me enough strength for the next step, or if I'm at the gym, He gives me enough strength for the next rep. That you may not
Good.
know, like how, like Jess even asked herself, is like, if we're not pregnant by October, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's like I really don't know what I'm gonna do, but and in that, God has now given her a new strength for just the next step. We don't know, like we could think that if I'm not pregnant by December, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Right.
But that for that next day, for that next moment, God will give you just enough strength for that.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's really, it's actually it's so true what the Bible says. Rejoice when you experience much trials, because this builds endurance.
Yes.
Right, and it's like building character, because it's like how much more do we have to stay tethered to God for real, because we're not getting what we want, and it's like,
Yeah.
God, like I have to hold on to you to have enough power to take that next step, because without that I'm got nothing.
I'm weak. I don't got it. Yeah. When you were reading that, it made me think of two things. It reminded me the hymn saying, or the Bible, the Word of God says, "Those who trust or wait on the Lord."
They're in different versions.
Okay, so those who trust in the Lord and those who wait on the Lord will find new strength. And just to show you proof of that, if you watch our the first episode of season 1, when we were talking about this, there was a time I couldn't even get through a sentence, and I was just bawling,
Yeah.
And that was about, I don't know, 7
Earlier
months
in the year,
ago. Yeah, that was about 7 months ago. And we're still in the same spot. It's just we've been waiting even longer now. But since we've been waiting on the Lord, and I feel like I have a different type of strength where it's not always, but I am at the point where I can talk about this, and I'm in a different place where I just feel stronger, just much stronger. I feel like we have a wider understanding of why God holds back certain things. And we know that God loves to give good gifts to his children,
Amen.
but it's not always when we want it.
Oh yeah.
Because if you give a child a good gift when it's not time, it could actually turn out to be a bad gift, or it could be for their detriment. Like if you give your kid a bike before they know how to ride one with no training wheels, it's a great gift, but they're going to hurt themselves. But another thing that I wanted to say when I was reading this, when you're like, he gives me strength for like the next rep and the next step, I had to hold on to that when Jonathan and I broke up. I thought I was going to die. I think I've said this before, but every morning I woke up, I was so mad that God woke me up, because I'm like, how could you wake me up so that I could feel this feeling of death again? Like, it was a very dramatic time for me, but literally I would wake up in the morning and I would just wish that I didn't wake up, which is absolutely insane. Over a boy, don't ever be like me, ladies. Stand on your feet, 10 toes. But I thought I was going to die. I just was like, God, why are you waking me up? I can't do this another day. And I very much survived. So to all my ladies and men, anybody who's in a season of waiting right now, I need you to do that. I need you to just breathe. Like, I know it can feel like it's never going to happen. Everyone else is getting what I want. But it's like, can you just promise me that you're going to believe that God has a beautiful gift to give you at the right time? Just know that when you get it, you're going to know this was exactly the way it was supposed to be. Like, this is the gift that God has been waiting to give me. And if you're waiting, wait well and do other things in the meantime. It's like, Jonathan and I, we don't have a kid. Okay, let's go on vacation or something. Let's start a new project or whatever. Like, waiting is a gift. The waiting season is actually a gift as well.
Yeah. I would say don't make everything about what you don't yet have.
Yes, don't idolize the thing that you don't have. You can't want it more than you want God, the presence of God. You can't want it more.
Yeah, so like if it becomes more about the gifts than the giver of the gifts,
Yeah.
you would get what you wanted and still be unhappy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Like you would get the man, you would get the baby, you would get the whatever it is, and still be unsatisfied because at the end of the day, Jesus is the only thing that can satisfy.
Yes.
And part of your waiting might be in that, so you trust God, and then you can start to realize that like you're fulfilled in Him. So like everything else that we get is gonna be gravy.
Yeah.
Like the greatest gift, the greatest miracle that He can do for you, He's already done for you by dying for you. You know, like there's nothing greater than that. Everything else is like we want a baby. We want a baby very much, but like that's not greater than the fact that Jesus died for me.
You're right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Jesus, He gave Himself for me. So everything else that we get is gravy. So then when you start to frame it by way of gratitude, like you grumble less, we complain less. You know, one thing that me and Jess started doing recently, and I think it's actually been pretty helpful for me, that every morning we're starting to say,
This is the Lord. This is the Lord. Sorry.
this is the day that the Lord has made, and I
We
will rejoice and be glad in it. Yeah. So it's like just a way to frame the day. It's like why am I complaining about like whatever, literally whatever? Like we are just so remarkably blessed by all the things that we do have, all the gifts that we have been given, and it's like we can still want what we want, but like I won't let the thing that I want become my identity or become my disposition.
Yeah, I can never sit here and say like God has forgotten about me, because I look at all the things that He has blessed me with, all the prayers He has answered. I can never say God's forgotten about me. Like, God, what about me? Like, girl, what about you? You have so much. So I think also in your waiting season, it's a great time to just thank God for what you do have, the prayers that He has answered, and just trust that He's not done with you yet. Your story is not done being written until you die. If you're still alive, you still have a chance, and you're gonna be fine. So I hope this was encouraging for somebody in their waiting season. Just know that you're not alone as well, you know, like, but you're gonna be okay. You're going to be okay, girl or guy. We're praying for you, and we love you guys. Thank you for listening to this episode, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.